the Follower Academy webinar with Ayondo and me, David Jones. If you're watching the recorded version of this, it was held live on Tuesday, the 17th of April at 7:30 in the evening. We do a regular webinar on a Wednesday lunchtime, which is a market outlook, levels in the market to look at, that sort of thing. But this is a bit different, this is where we look at the social / copy trading side of Ayondo. So let me just put the risk warning up while I'm jabbering away. So this is where we're looking at the performance of various traders available on the Ayondo platform with a view to building a portfolio and having their trades followed automatically on our own account. Tonight's webinar will only run for about 30 minutes, but we're going to go right through everything, right from the basics to adding them onto a real account, so my real account, looking at different traders, all that sort of thing. So by the end of the webinar, you should be completely familiar with how it all works. So we're not going to spend too much time on PowerPoint this evening. We'll just keep jumping back to it just to get the structure of the webinar. Most of this evening will be spent on the Ayondo platform on there. So let's just go back to PowerPoint first of all. So the basic principles, I think that one way of describing it, it's rather than you trying to be a super player for a football team or a rugby team or a cricket team and go out there, get all the points, get all the goals, we're being a manager. So we're trying to manage a good team. So we're trying to pick members of the team who are going to trade for us, and it's all going to happen automatically. So the first thing we need to do clearly is identify these profitable traders. That's the first stage we're going to go through in a minute. Then once we've done that, build a portfolio of traders who we want to follow. Manage the risk. It's all important. Even though we're following people, we still got to keep an eye on the risk. And then how we monitor the positions via the two Ayondo platforms. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to log into WeTrade. So WeTrade is Ayondo's sort of social trading platform. We'll look at the rankings list. That's like a league table of traders. We'll choose various sort criteria. The most profitable ones is the obvious one to search for, but it's not just all about that. Then we'll drill down into that data. So we'll look at how volatile their returns have been, the number of winning trades, where they've made their money, any open positions, all of that sort of thing. So let's get going. So first of all, let's jump onto the platform. So when you have an account with Ayondo and you first log in, you go to log in, you get presented with this screen. So Trade Hub, which we'll look at towards the end of the webinar, is Ayondo's trading platform. So if you've ever traded before for yourself, it's something you'll be familiar with, where you can buy, sell, put stop losses in, look at your open positions, all that sort of stuff. But this evening, we're looking at this, WeTrade. So we're going to log into WeTrade. So once we've done that, we get presented with a screen like that. So let's just make that full screen. So this is my account that I use for these webinars. I think it's got about 900 quid in it. And so if I click on my account, you'll see the details. Here we go. So £975. I don't have any portfolios running at the moment, so I'm going to explain all of this stuff as we go on. But where we start up here with the rankings lists. Here we go. So how it works is, and you could do this yourself if you wanted to. If you trade with Ayondo, you can, if you so desire, make your track record, your real-time track record, available for all to view, and have traders follow you if you want to. And following you means that basically the trades you do, if you buy euro dollar now, if I'm following you, that same trade gets done on my account. So my account ends up buying euro dollar automatically. So here we have a list of 491 traders who've chosen to make their track records available. So what we'll do, let's look at the last year and just sort by P&L. Here we go. So what I've done now, sorted by P&L. So I've got my list of 491. So the best performer over the last 12 months is this trader here called The Venture, with a P&L of 107%. So slightly more than doubled their account over the last year. Second best, it's a familiar face, this one, Giuseppe, comes up on a lot of these webinars, has been consistently over the year a good, strong performer. Made 94.9%. Then Kopijai won 73.2. Dow Jones 100, 71, and so it goes on. Okay, so you can scroll down and see the list of all the different traders. And of course, it's important when you're trading to be realistic. I think people come into trading maybe definitely naively expecting to make, to double their account every month. The world doesn't work that way. Look at the 50th best performer, 50 out of 491. So we're 10% of the way through the list. And this one made 17.9%. So most people are going to lose. So what we want to do is filter out the ones with the consistent good track records. Okay, so we've gone back to page 1 now. So we have 491 traders. But first of all, for me, there's a filter that I always do right from the beginning, and we're going to do that now. Because you can appear as a top trader on the Aondo platform, even if you're trading on a demo account. So some of these people on this page, and it's easy to identify them, I'll explain it in a minute, have built up their track records trading on a demo, so not actually using real money. Now, my view has always been, and I've been using sort of social copy trading for coming up to 2 years now, if I'm going to follow somebody with my own hard-earned money, then at the very least, I expect them to be trading with their own hard-earned money as well, not trading on a demo account. So there's something I can do here. So what I can do, if I click on RMT, this will just show me real money traders. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all the demo wannabes by clicking on here. So at the moment, we've got 491 traders. And the way you identify who's trading with real money on this page, they've got the R next to the name. So the top 2 are actually real money traders. Then we have a clutch here who don't have an R next to their name, who are trading on play money. And then the next top performer is down here, positive, number 8. Okay, so we've got 491. We'll click on RMT. We'll filter out all the demos. And here we go. We're now down to 185 traders. Now, I'm only looking for 5 traders. So for me, that's still a good list to go on. But you can see, we filter out the demo traders. So we've got people trading with real money. And look how quick the performance falls off. The best performer, the venture, 107%. 10th best performer made 22%. Meister trading. Okay, so a much more realistic level of return, I think, when we take out these demo traders. Okay, so now we've got people trading with real money, which is what I want as a filter. But it's not just about P&L. It's a good place to start from, but I don't think you can pick top traders just based on who's done the best over the last year, because the normal caveat applies, which I'm sure you're familiar with. Historical performance is not necessarily a guide to the future. So we have P&L first of all, is how we sorted this. But this number is really important. Max drawdown. So we all know when we're trading, to make more money, to grow our account further, we have to risk losing some money. So the max drawdown is how much of the account has been given back along the way. So let's say somebody ended the year up 100%, but they went from 0 to 50% return, then it dropped back to 30% return, then it grew to 70%, then it dropped back to 45%, then it grew to 80%. You get the picture. We get the zigzag, don't we, of the P&L. So this is how much of the profit was given back along the way in terms of drawdown. So it can give you an insight into volatility. So the ones with the higher drawdown, let's say Giuseppe here, giving back 1/3 of the account along the way to increase profits, has a risk score of 5, which is sort of middling sort of risk score. Then we have someone like Positive down here, giving back only 13%, just under 14% of profits for a 53% return, has a risk score of 1. Okay, and so it goes on. Then we have somebody down here, which is someone I do not want to be following, despite the fact they're 7th on the list. So they made just under 24% over the last 12 months, but gave up 38% along the way. Yeah, so for me, ideally, I want 3 to 1 or less, and the less the better. So if the profit is at least 3 times bigger than the drawdown, then that's okay. We look at this one up here, the venture, his profit is about 5 times bigger than his drawdown. But this one here, we have an inverse relationship between profit and drawdown. So for me, looking at the drawdown gives me a feeling for maybe how volatile following this person will be. So those are really the 2 big numbers for me. And we'll look into things in a bit more detail in a minute. Okay, so what we're going to do now is look in a bit more detail at the traders. But the next thing I have a quick glance at is the P&L, because I don't really want to see a P&L chart that maybe looks like this here, where it's a weird one, where you had a sudden spike and then it's flat again. So it looks like maybe all the money's been made on one trade has gone all or nothing on one trade, and then it's just traded pretty mediocrely. In an ideal world, I want to have a P&L that looks something like this one down here. Nice smooth upward trend, just gradually increasing the size of the account. But let's find out a bit more. Let's have a look on the venture. So let's say we come up with a list of ones who we think are interesting. We want to delve a little bit deeper. So let's take a look. Let's click on the venture. Here we go. So this brings up the page for that trader. So we can now see a lot more information, how they've made their money, where they've made their money, all that sort of stuff. So here's their P&L chart. So the orange line here, that's their account. And you can see it was pretty flat. Well, it's actually negative for a long time. And it only really started taking off from September last year. But again, it's been pretty flat this year. We've been a bit sideways in terms of P&L. The purple dotted line is the DAX, the German 30, just as something to compare it with. If you put your money in the German 30 index, what would your comparable rate of return be? Then down here, we have a bit more information. This is where, for me, it starts to get interesting. So volatility, relatively low volatility. Number of trades, 160. Winning trades, 43% of trades are winners. Now, I like that number because occasionally, well, not occasionally, quite often, you see some of these top traders have winning trades of 90, 95% plus sometimes. And I just think that's ridiculous and a bit unsustainable. And I think the concern is, if somebody has those sorts of ratio of winning trades, it does suggest that they've got possibly a problem with taking losses. So for me, someone who's making money and only 43% of the trades are winners suggests they have no problem cutting losses. Their winning trades are much bigger than their losing trades, and it's a strategy for me that makes sense. Winning months, so 7 months out of 10 are winners, 71%. That's, again, perfectly sensible one. And this is always an important one, real money trader since, because people can build up a track record on demo account and then switch over to trading with real money, and their demo account is counted as part of their track record. So you'll sometimes see people who've got a 2-year track record, but have only been trading with real money since, for example, March of this year. And again, I'm sure if you've ever done any trading, you know that once you make the switch from play money to real money, the psychology is very different, but not in this case here. The venture has been a real money trader since Feb 2016. Okay, so they're the numbers. Down here, we'll look at another one as well as a comparison in a minute. Down here, we have their annual performance. So 2016 was a pretty rubbish year, losing 13%. 2017 made 104% in 2017, cracking year. Again, a big chunk of it coming in the last quarter. So more than half of the profits for 2017 coming in the last quarter of last year. And so far this year, it's got off to a good start. It's up 4% for the year. We're 4 months into the year. That's a good return. One losing month, lost just over 5% in March. Sensible returns, Jan, Feb, and April. So all looks good. So again, to me, it looks like maybe somebody interesting for me to follow. Then let's scroll down. We have asset allocation. So where have they traded? Where have they made their money? So you'll see, or lost their money. So you'll see a lot of these traders will often just trade the German 30. Aondo started off in Germany, so I have a lot of German clients, and a lot of these people trade the German index. But actually, the venture trades a bit of everything. So 13%, 13.8% of trades in German index, 13% in gold, 12% euro dollar, bit in Apple, Bitcoin, of course, crude oil, Deutsche Bank, and a few others. Okay, so we get to see a lot more information. And then we have various risk metrics, open positions. So, it's chunky old trade there. Got 11,500 euro position profit, in Bitcoin at the moment, running that. A few smaller profits in there, a couple of small losses. Okay, and there it goes. And then you can see closed trades. So Bitcoin's been quite a success for this one lately. 5,700 in Bitcoin there, closed that on 18th of Feb. So you can see quite a bit of information. So to me, the venture looks interesting. So that would be one I would think about following. Let's go back to the rankings list and just look at some more. So let's click on, let's try and find somebody who looks a little bit different. Corbatchus. Let's have a look at Corbatchus. What does their trading history look like? So we have, again, this is a weird move here, isn't it? Completely crazy. That's contributed most of the P&L. So real money trader since July 17. So even though we've got data going back to March 2017, only been trading real money since July. I mean, it's not bad. And then we can see a bit more about the P&L. So there we go. We can see how they did last year. I mean, they're ahead this year. I'm nearly 4% for this year, so it's not as terrible as maybe I first thought it was. And you can scroll down and see the breakdown of the trades. I'm trying to find one that's got just something of a ridiculous number of winning trades. Let's see if we can find somebody. Who is there? Who is there? We can take a look at. Maybe that one, Real Money Trader, because they got a horrible. Oh, actually, no, winning trades 31%. Okay, no, fair enough. But their drawdown versus their profit is not a very good figure. So we've got our rankings list there. So let me click on a trader who I know I'm not following. So it's the second trader, so Giuseppe. Let me click on Giuseppe. Here we go. So Giuseppe has been on this list for a while. We've got a track record going back to April 2016, but only a real money trader since June 2017. So the transition was around about here. It's not done too bad though. It continues to make profit because the transition is around about there. And so it goes on. So we see that their P&L, how are they doing for the year so far? Where's the numbers? Up 20% for this year so far. 2 winning months, 2 losing months, made a bucket load in January, made 34% in January, made 145% last year. Let's say we decide to follow this trader. If we click on follow, a warning comes up, click OK, and this trader is now added to my portfolio. Okay, so here's one I built earlier. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4 traders in there already. I've just added Giuseppe. So I've got my 5 traders in there. So what it's showing me here, first of all, nothing's happening yet because you can see this big green button here, execute on live accounts. So nothing's happening yet because I'm not following these people. So what we're going to do now is, let me just flip back to PowerPoint just to explain what we're going to do. We're going to follow these traders. We're going to access this portfolio builder, and we're going to set the risk levels per trader and then kick the whole thing off, get these people trading for us. So the dashed blue line is my idealized performance. If I could go back in time, a year, I would have made, following these traders, 329% over the last year. Well, wouldn't that be wonderful? Unfortunately, of course, I can't go back in time and follow these traders from 12 months ago. And as usual, the disclaimer, the performance represented is historical past performance and is not a reliable indicator of future performance. Okay, so there's our warning in there. So, but we have our traders in there. What we can do now, you can set individual risk levels per trader. So let me just explain how this works. Let's say the venture trades with a £100,000 account, does a trade on, for example, the Dow, and places their stop loss a distance away. Let's say places their stop loss a distance away. That means they risk losing 1% of their account if they get stopped out. So 1% of 100,000 is £1,000. Now, if I'm trading with a £2,000 account, it'd be rather stupid for that level of risk to be done at the same size of my account, risking £1,000, because it would halve my account if it went wrong. So what it does, it's based on the percentage. If they do a trade where they risk 1% of their account, the same trade is done on your account in the size that would be 1% of your account. So if I'm trading with a £2,000 account, then the trade will be done where if the trade goes wrong, I lose 1% of £2,000, which is £20. Okay, but what I can do, I can dial this risk up and down if I want to. So I can trade 3 times their risk, up to 3 times their risk, or knock it down to trade a quarter percentage of their risk. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So I can do all of that for all these individual traders. Personally, I just tend to leave it to 1 for all of them, but you can go through and change it for all these people in here. And then that's it. We're almost ready to go. You know, once we've confirmed their individual risk levels, we're ready to execute on the live account. So let's do that. Let's just click on execute and we'll get going. There'll be a couple of warning screens. Here we go. So these traders who we're about to follow, because they are active traders, then obviously they'll have trades that are open already. So Giuseppe, who was the one we added, currently has 27 open trades. So it says to us, well, do you want to mirror their existing open trades? And I never choose it, because let's say Giuseppe bought the Dow yesterday and the Dow is now 150 points higher. I'll end up buying the Dow where it's trading now, not at yesterday's price, obviously. So what I want to do is follow any future trades. So I've got no interest in mirroring their existing open trades, but if Giuseppe buys the Dow in half an hour, I want that trade done on my account. Click on Execute Portfolio, and we are go. Or we should be going in a minute. There we go. So that's it. It's up and running. So now my account with £975 in it is following these traders. Now, I've got no open positions because, of course, nobody's done a trade yet. But if someone does a trade in the next 10 minutes before we finish up tonight, you'll see the trade appear on my account. There's another level of risk control we can do. So I've got £975 in my account. I can choose to set my loss protection. So I can say, okay, I'm following all these traders. They are using stop losses, but as an extra level of risk control, if my account drops to, let's say, 500 quid in value, including the cash I've got on the account and open positions, I can say, close out everything, close out all the trades and stop following any new trades. So it's a way, it's an extra level of risk control in a way where I can impose what is in effect a financial stop loss on my account. So I'll do that, click on save, and that's it. That's done. And in addition, from Aondo, there's also what's known as negative balance protection. So what that means is, I'm sure, again, if you've traded using spread betting or contracts for difference or foreign exchange, you're used to the normal risk warning. You can lose more than your initial deposit. If you have a massive move against you, because you're trading on margin, you can end up losing more than you put into the account. With Aondo, you don't. So with Aondo, the most you can lose is what you put on deposit. Okay, so you have this negative balance protection thing. And that's it. So we are up and running with that. We've done all that. Monitor open positions. So for me, for keeping an eye on open positions, I look at this page. I just want to see what's going on. How's everyone doing? I can jump back. If someone goes a little bit off the boil, I can go back to the portfolio builder and think, okay, let me have a quick look at, let's see, Smarty Trader. I've not looked at this person for a while. How's Smarty Trader doing? Oh, they're not doing too badly. They're up 5% for the year. They were up 47% last year, up 100% the year before. Real money trader since June last year, been on the platform though since March of 2016. So they're not doing too badly. They've had a good month so far this month in April. So it's very easy just to jump around and see what's going on with your account. And if someone has, a bad couple of days, I wouldn't boot them off, because I'm looking hopefully for people who are going to deliver profits quarter in and quarter out. So I tend not to review it every month, but every 2 or 3 months, I'll take a look at the traders. Okay, but there's another way of looking at what's going on, and we can go into Trade Hub. So this is Aondo's all singing, all dancing trading platform. So let's just bring that up and go in. Here we go. So we have the simple web view, and we have the more sort of granular, I suppose we'd say, trading platform view. So let's just wait for that to load. Here we go. So let's just flip it over to the follower account. Here we go. So that's my account. So this is my sort of trading account where the trades are going to get done on when someone actually does a trade. I can see what positions I've got open. I can add money. I can look at the history. Now, I haven't done anything on here for a while. Because I just use it for webinars. But if I go back to Feb, I'm sure we'll see. There we go. So there's some old trades that were done in an old webinar, and you can see it is pretty tiny, because I dial the risk right down. Some of the trades on the DAX, for example, that's 3p a point, because I dial the risk right down on some of these traders I'm following for the purposes of these webinars. But it's very easy to do the usual things like run statements, save it as a PDF, all of that sort of stuff. So that's Trade Hub, and as part of your follower account, you also have a normal spread betting account. So you can jump over to your normal spread betting or CFD account and just trade it in the normal way. So where you're making your own decisions on what to do rather than following somebody else. And then I can jump back onto my social follower account. No trades have gone through just yet. So it's very easy using Trade Hub to see things in a lot more detail. So you have the normal key, important figures, the cash balance, your P&L, how much margin is tied up. You can monitor and change your positions this way. So if someone bought the Dow with a 200-point stop loss and you thought the stop loss should be 250 points away, for example, you can go in and edit that yourself if you really wanted to. The thing to be aware of, though, if you go in and change a trade from somebody you're following, that trade then becomes your trade. So if you take the stop loss off, for example, it's completely up to you to close that trade out. Okay, so for me, I don't tamper with it. You know, I think if I'm following people, I'm following people. I'm not going to go in and try and second guess their trades. You can look at financing costs because, of course, we're trading on margin, so there is a small element of overnight financing, run account statements, all of that sort of stuff. Okay, so it's really easy to have either, which is what I have, the high level view, what's going on, how much money have I got in the account, what's my P&L, do I have any open trades, and adjust my loss protection. But if you want to drill down into a bit more detail, you can do that via the Trade Hub account. Okay, or the Trade Hub sort of log on that way, and that's it. It really is that straightforward. I mean, clearly it's not easy to pick consistently profitable people because everyone goes off the boil. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people go off the boil. A lot of people will have like a 3-month run where they do really well and then just lose it completely. But some of them do have I mean, Giuseppe's an interesting one because he has had, I'm assuming it's a he from his picture, he has had consistently good returns. You know, we have a classic uptrend in terms of the P&L. So this is one I follow in a couple of different accounts as well. You know, but some people do end up being, you know, something of a flash in the pan. And it's the P&L chart for me when they tend to look a bit crazy. Let's go a bit further down the list. Like this sort of thing. Clearly, Sheng RMT doesn't trade that much because you can see from the P&L chart just how jagged it's looking. And I'm not interested in ones who have lost money for maybe 8 months, then go all or nothing for 4 months to try and make some money. So ideally, what we're looking for is a smooth, no stress P&L rather than one like this one here. Hopefully you can see that. Let's just have a look at that. So this one here, messy trader, appropriate enough, has scraped into profit since September last year, is up about 5.6%. But look at this, you know, for a year, the account was just losing money. Okay, so for me, even though the profit figure for last year is all right, 9%, 3.5%, 3.4% this year, you know, the way it's been made would throw up a question mark for me and would mean I wasn't somebody who was interested, I was interested in following. Okay, and that's it. So we're going to start wrapping things up there with a couple of minutes to spare. So we've whizzed through it this evening. But I think the easiest way of understanding it is to actually do it. If you open an account with Aondo, you do have the chance to have a demo. So you can play around with a demo for, I think it's 3 weeks. If you have a look on my website, jonesthemarkets.com, and go to the blog, I blogged about social trading a few times last year, following somebody with a real account and adding a new trader every couple of weeks. And one of the traders did go loopy in terms of their P&L, loopy, and blew themselves up. So you can see the effect of that and actually how the account weathered it quite well. So if you have a look, you can read about that on my website, jonesthemarkets.com. If you have any questions after this, drop me an email, david@tradeafter.com, and I'll try and answer them. But I think the best way is just to start small. If you fancy the idea of handing over some of your risk to people with, you know, a reasonably good track record, it's a really interesting way of gaining some extra exposure to markets in addition to or instead of making the decisions yourself. But we'll wrap things up there. Thanks for coming along. I'll let you get on with the rest of your Tuesday evening. We're finishing with about a minute to spare, which must be a record for me. So thanks for coming along. There will be a recording available, which will get automatically emailed to you in the next 24 hours if there's anything you need to go over again. But thanks for coming along, and we'll stop it there.